So hi, I think I want to talk about the Rock-Delver matchup first, as it's a more common matchup, and afterwards I think I would go to Snoko lands, elves, TNT, and so on and so forth. So in the mirror, I guess the more common mirror is when you play against the non-basic version. So I will cover mostly that. So the Delver mirror is complicated, I think. First of all, forces are not that great because they only can be used good to force in key plays, but normally 2-for-1ing yourself is not great. And so they come out for me. Oko is overestimated, I think, in the matchup because he's only good pre-board normally, and only good when you're at least even on board, and only good if you have the mana, and only good if he doesn't get dazed. So this is a lot of questions for Oko to be good. And first, I think I will talk about some paths to victory. So most easiest one. Kill the opponent with Wasteland. So, I mean, either color screw them, but this is tricky, or just them having one land, cantrip, shuffle their ponder, Wasteland them, GG. Something like that. This will come up. This will come up less if you have a basic island. Yeah, this is the first way. Second way, you play a Dreadhot Arcanist maybe on the play, or even on the draw, it doesn't matter, but on the play is easier. You have a Dreadhot Arcanist, your opponent doesn't counter it, or you daze back or something like that. Your opponent has either only a Delver or is kind of flooded on cantrips, and you connect with it, and it's normally game over. So this is something you have to keep in mind. If your opponent plays Delver on 1, flips it, and crashes you for 3, you should let it have that, even if you have a Lightning Bolt, because this is the card which will kill you if he has it. So the mirror is a lot of trading 1-for-1, and normally some things will happen when the game is normal. One player floods a bit, so he doesn't have enough cards, and this is something you have to practice with sequencing your cantrips. Sometimes when the board state is kind of even, don't waste your brainstorm, for example, or don't waste your fetchlands. I don't know how to put it right, but this comes with practice. The normal games where you have to prevent to flood on lands or on useless spells. Like drawing Wastelands in the late game can be punishing. You can't always prevent it, but sometimes you can. There are not that much games which are decided by Delver. Normally you win with Delver early when you put down 2 and kill everything your opponent does and cross the finishing line with them, but it's unlikely that this will work. One thing you have to also consider, besides flooding, is be careful that your hand, even especially post-board, doesn't clunk up too much. You have maybe 2 Okos and the cloth is in hand. Maybe you can brainstorm one away or something like that. You need the early interaction to deal with those creatures from your opponent. So This is, to summarize, something you have to practice carefully. Some games will be cheesed out, I guess, with wastelands, and some with creatures. These are the easy ones. Most of the games are complicated, and you have to prevent yourself from flooding out on either lands or useless spells. Sometimes it's good to daze something, even though you have an answer for it, just to have a target for it. That happens normally around turn 3 to 5 or 6 or something in the mid game. Okay, post-board, what happens? As I said, the forces I think are bad because there are not enough key plays you can force through. True Name Nemesis is not played anymore, so nothing is unanswerable. Okay, what do I do? What is good? I will just resort that for a little bit. Pyroblast is good. And then Clothis is good. Submerge is good in the pure mirror, obviously not good against Blue-Red Delver. So these are cards which are good. What I like doing is, because you bought into 3-drops, and this is not the only reason, I most of the time bought out 1 Orko, because it will either not resolve or not matter or be too late. I don't know. It's really kind of a trap, but sometimes you can win. But though this is not your game plan, I think. So something like this, let me double check if I forgot something. Against Blue-Red Delver, Upgrade is good. Against the Tarmogoyf version, against my version, Upgrade is also good, but not against the Tarmogoyf version. It's a bit fringe. So this is how I would sideboard, I think. So, and what does change now in the dynamics? First of all, Tarmogoyf is scary for this configuration. In the mid game, when you have a Pyromancer, you can maybe, if it doesn't get killed right away, you can maybe be overwhelmed Tarmogoyf or create a stalemate. So be aware of Tarmogoyf somehow with Wastelands and Dazes can protect a little bit. But this is public enemy number 1, yeah, in the mirror. So let's see. Post-board. This will probably win if it resolves. So you have to check somehow if your opponent has days. Sometimes you gamble in not having, or sometimes you play it when it's tapped out and you have your own days. And sometimes you wait for a 4th land, I guess, depending how desperate you are. This is obviously good with Tarmogoyf and green creatures, but general, and this answers also a lot of stuff like early Delver, so you can keep your lightning bolts for Arcanists, or sometimes Brainstorms. Sometimes. So this is the mirror, I guess. A last thing, sometimes when I'm a little bit desperate and I play against the non-basic version, and I know he's on a Tarmogoyf version, like multiple Tarmogoyfs, and I'm likely to lose, and let's say 1-1. I put in 2 surgicals, and let me see what I put out then. Can maybe put out Delvers because they are not going to live probably, or you can, yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Maybe a Delver and against Tarmogoyfs, I want to keep 2 of these, I guess. I don't know. Maybe 2 Delvers or something like that. But what the game plan then is to wasteland their volcanic, or if I get the green land, I also do this and search kill them. And this works surprisingly often. Don't underestimate this plan. It's not a pure cheese strat. You can do this against the non-basic Rugdather mana base. Okay, so this is about the mirror. Here you can see my sideboarding again, and I hope you learned something. Goodbye.